Reet. Had your gobs. Public service announcement from Fatster's economy lad. All the crap coming is Reet. But didn't ask when war slugs and Dan or a couple of doylums that can't use the netty proper, let alone find their arse from their elbow. So gan canny. All the pictures taxed them from all hour. So cheers to all the hinnies who hide them out there. So all canny here over the dirt. So if you didn't like it, like me granny used to say, it's nice to be nice. If you can't be nice, fuck off. Didn't let the bairns listen to this unless you want them to go and proper rage and mental. Reet man, pet man. This is one of them D as I say, not as I D moments. If ye want to copy us, Divin come running to us after with a broken leg. Cheers, bairns, gan canny.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dirt. We're experiencing a few technical issues with our tech wizard, our local tech wizard Slogs.
They call me Bill fucking Gates.
And not because he's good with computers, because he's some kind of evil genius. Intent on... No, we won't go down that road.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Mason Moore. It's an absolute pleasure and honour to have you on, as it is all our guests. But this one in particular, I got to say, I got a bit of a fanboy thing going on. For reasons that I'm sure we will divulge as we go on through the episode a bit. Hailing from Salt Lake City, was it you said?
Yeah, Salt Lake City, the capital of Utah, kind of Midwest coast. 103 degrees outside right now, and windy. Too hot to do anything except hang out inside in the shade. Super like this. The riding here, and I think the terrain lends itself to mountain boarding in Utah, especially because you can go 3 hours in any direction, and you can be in Moab or up in the mountains, or you have a couple of universities you can ride, do like urban street style stuff. So it's home, and it's got a little bit of everything, man.
And so you're born and bred Utah?
Yeah, and my family, my dad's from back east, from New York, and then he moved out here in the 80s to a little slower pace and decided to start a family.
Cracking. And so for me, Utah, and I think for a lot of riders, certainly outside of the States, the Utah area, that state seems to have, as you say, has it all. I mean, I'm a snowboarder as well. I have admiration for the snow resorts in that area of the world, as well as like say, I mean, Moab has just been so integral to mountain boarding through the video parts throughout the years, that the MBS guys and Dirt Heads, and what was it? There was another little group that we've touched on in previous episodes with previous guests in sort of like the California, South California area.
Right. Shoot, I know what you're talking about. It's on the tip of my head.
It would have been reference to Don Baker's episode. We definitely talked about that crew, but that general area of America, I mean, it's a fucking massive place, let's be honest.
Right.
But that one seems to be the area that seems to be steeped in the most history for mountain boarding, shall we say?
For sure, and it's a good halfway point between the dudes in Colorado, Denver, Aspen, Colorado Springs. It's like a short 6-hour drive for them, and it's 4 hours for us. So when I was coming up, like it's an annual thing. Everyone would meet up in Moab and we'd go ride. And I think were it not for Moab, I don't think like Jay Lee and PMC and those guys would have even like taken mountain boarding so seriously, because mountain boarding, it seems like the mountain board was built to ride Moab. I mean, watching Jay Lee. I don't even know how old he is anymore. I don't think he ages really, but
like Pharrell, never gets any older.
Right, dude. Like, but watching him drop a knee and just slack out like on the gnarliest shit down there was like, you know, it's like, holy shit, dude, this dude still has it. Not, you know, so it's pretty cool.
I think Moab's like the mecca for American mountain biking, as where we've got Cleve Hill. I think Cleve Hill is our Moab, to be fair.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of Cleve Hill, dude. That looks super rad too. So I'll tell you what, you come over to Utah, you've got a place to stay. I'll take you to Moab. I'll come crash at your guys' place and we'll go ride Cleve.
Boom, I'm there.
It's a date.
I'm looking at dates already. I know that the I mean, Dirthead's Hawaii Bash is upcoming, and it would. I mean, Hawaii's. It's not exactly close to America either, but you'd have to go via America, or we would have to go via probably LA to get to Hawaii if that were to ever happen. So surely it could extend a stay and catch a flight out from LA to Salt Lake or something.
Yeah, so Salt Lake is a hub for Alaskan Airlines.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah, so Salt Lake is a hub for,
now we're talking
Alaskan.
meccas. We've got snow meccas there.
Right. So we go from Alaskan Airlines, we fly to Seattle, and then from Seattle you can do like 8 hours to Hawaii. So flights to Hawaii are relatively inexpensive. When you look at like things to Ireland or whatever else, right? But like $700 usually to get to Hawaii from the lower 48.
Yeah.
And if you can never get to Hawaii to ride, like 100% would recommend that too. Like the dirt's always damp, it's always sticky, it's never duffy. You know, you get to hang out with people like Plunger, another legend, you know, Ollie Kano, if you ever get the chance to like look him up or anything, dude, like, and super hospitable. Those guys are 100% down to hang all the time. So
yeah,
so I'm telling you, this is your invitation, man. So get out here. Like I said, I got spare rooms. We put you in a car. You got something to drive around for a minute, you know. So come hang out, man.
If as AJ was saying, if I'm right in what AJ was saying, if I leave my wife,
can she hear you?
My wife, I was just checking. If I leave my wife behind, can I get more whilst I'm there and just keep them there? Come visit.
I think a dude that Cody hangs out with, his philosophy is bridges and borders. So you know, if you don't have the same passport, I think it's okay. So.
Could be.
That's just what I heard.
So given the back to the main topic, given where you are in the world and your age, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you, Mason?
Just turned 31 back in March.
31.
So
your prime time now, I would say. I would regard late 20s, early 30s as the prime time for riding.
For sure. Hold on, I gotta grab my ear pod real quick here. Back in. Sorry. Yeah, no, I think so too, because like we're, you know, stronger, like after riding for all these years, you know, your muscle memory is at its max, you're strong as you'll ever be. So you can really throw those mountain boards around, and then, you know, just wisdom and knowing how to ride and what to ride and where to ride, like those all lend themselves to like enjoying the experience to the max, you know?
Oh, completely. How long have you been riding for, and how did you first experience, you know, how did mountain boarding find you? What was that?
I think it was inevitable. So I was working at a ski resort where Millie Wallace used to work as well, and she was a pretty prominent female mountain boarder coming up, like back in 2003 or 2004. Had a terrible accident, like broke her back on a mountain board, but still a huge proponent of the sport. And our local crew, the Dirt Star Army, was partnered with Salty Peaks, which is one of the first shops in the US to sell mountain boards. And they would do monthly learn to rides. And so as soon as the season kicked up, Millie picked me up, took me to a learn to ride, and I met Van Dewitt, Halston Rhodes, Casey Thomas, like unaware of who I was in the presence of at the time too, right? And rode mountain board the first day and mowed lawns for the rest of the summer so I could buy my first mountain board. Went to the US Open, which was a NBS Comp 6.
Nice.
So
nice.
it was the old the red and black graphic.
Yeah.
The Matrix had just come out on that board, and yeah, the old F3 straps, like super, you know. So like I wanted that board to get into. This is at the same time the Alex Brown was coming out, so like, but the difference was like $500, $400, and $600 or something like that. So it's like,
yeah.
You know, I want to spend some time mountain boarding, not mowing lawns. So I did the bare minimum to get on a board, and then I went to the US Opens that same summer. It was and it's been a mainstay ever since. So
how old were you at this point?
I was 13, I think. Yeah. So I've been riding since I was in 8th grade. So I think I was 13 or 14 at the time. And then I really didn't start seeing, well, and then I guess we did Let It Happen, that video part. And that was like the first year or two also that I was riding. So yeah, honestly, just like mountain boarding has been a mainstay and kind of this upswing for the last 15 years. I mean, it's been crazy.
Yeah, I bet. And what did, so you're 13, 14, still at school? What were any of your school friends into it as well, or what did they make of you doing this if they weren't into it? So
like I could get like a couple of my friends into it, riding other boards or borrowed boards. But I think like the cost of entry, you know, was like pretty intimidating, and other people were like buying mountain bikes or other stuff, right? So and I had like skateboarded and BMX'd and rollerbladed and, you know, pretty quintessential rocket power dude, you know. So
yeah.
So I was the only one at school who rode, other than, you know, the onesie twosies of the friends that who would like jump on my board and come ride with me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like if it was after school, you know, we were either riding at the skate parks with the dudes. Like Van would come pick me up, Millie would come pick me up. In the summertime, Halston had a job where he would work at 2:00 in the afternoon till like 8:00 at night or 9:00. So
yeah,
he'd pick me up in the morning, we'd go ride. And then
so literally your crew was A-list mountainboarders from day dot.
Yeah, dude. And that was integral in my upbringing for sure. Like,
yeah, gotta be.
I think like they all recognized like my passion and tenacity for the sport, and they just like, you know, fostered that and really lent themselves to my success. And I didn't see it at the time, right? Like, just as far as it was a crew to ride with, we'd all session, we'd all do like Sunday ride days where we had 15 to 20 people, like reliably just sessioning different spots or whatever. But like looking back now and even having this conversation, like they believed in my success or like where I could take the sport. And they backed me up 100%, kept me in check a lot, like the whole time, you know.
Probably helped shape the person you are in some ways.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry if you can hear the dog barking in the back, old Russ. But absolutely, dude. Like if I didn't have mountain boarding as the experience that I've had, like it sounds pretty cheesy to say, like you know, mountain boarding is who I am, not what I do. Like I can definitely like navigating the day-to-days of life. Dude, like I've done some really scary, sketchy shit on a mountain board. And like, if I can survive all that, then like, yeah, dude, I can go to work, you know, every day and, you know, sack up and do like, you know, subjectively less difficult stuff, you know?
Exactly that. And it don't sound cheesy at all. Well, not to me, because it just sounds relatable is the bottom line. And
I'll second that. I think about mountain boarding work more than I think about work in work.
Yeah, right. And like, and admittedly, like I don't ride as much as I used to, and I feel like, you know, because mountain boarding has been a defining characteristic for me, like it's difficult to like take a step back and like, you know, not ride as much because not everybody else is riding as much because we're so used to riding with like huge crews, you know. So
yeah.
But and Slogs and Dan, like you guys might agree, like you can go anywhere in the world and you would see that mountain boarders we're pretty similar, you know, like
yeah,
we're all more the same than we are different. And with that, like, yeah, it is a lifestyle at that point. It's much more, it's more of a family than a community, you know?
You got the same, everyone seems to have the same mentality.
Completely.
So, absolutely. You have to be just like the same amount of messed up to like step on these things and like shove yourself down a rocky hill, you know?
Yeah.
It's definitely the common thread, isn't it?
And then,
yeah.
And then get up and dust yourself down and think, oh, I'll do that again.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Like the things that we do for enjoyment, like, so I don't know. We'll always joke, like we see road bikers riding their road bikes up this like ridiculous ass hill, just miserable. We're like, what do you do for a day job that this is what you find like enjoyment and solace in? and then we look at mountain boarding and we're like, what do we do for a day job? So, like,
you know, how can you come down from that? I sympathize with you exactly. You know, I had one of the best rides. I mean, one of the best rides I've had in years over the weekend.
Oh, you're gonna rub my face in it again?
Oh, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm listening. That's where you can't see me because my face is miserable as fuck. Now you brought that up again.
Yeah, did you hear something?
I think your dog was barking in the background again.
Could have been. Is that what it was? Yeah. Sounds an awful lot like maybe like a UK accent though in the back.
Can your dog do accents?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Little like Slogs, but you know.
but yeah, and back in the day I used to love hitting the kickers and stuff like that, but I haven't had a kicker session for it's sporadic at best. You know, if I go visit bugs or certain areas that certain trails have a few kickers and tabletops and bits and stuff like that. But we hit a local park that I went to 10 years ago and it really was shit. It's the I suppose not very polite way of putting it, but those guys have put in so much work. You know, I'm talking, I went there in its infancy when it was literally a farm building. There was like an old BMX track with a few bits and pieces put in, but there must be the whole place is just a field of kickers, maybe 100 or more, gaps, tables and stuff. And I didn't think it was going to work. I thought it was too flat. We got there and rode and it was incredible. Slogs, put your phone on silent. Matt Bryn says it's really annoying because you keep leaving your phone on.
Fix your camera too, dude. Somebody get this guy a millennial.
But the point is that I don't ride freestyle that much no more, and it was absolutely joyous to be hitting so much in a crew as well, because the thought of going there on my own, whilst is now appealing now because I know that it works, it's never as appealing as when you've got a crew around you. And I think that it don't matter whether it's skating or snowboarding, they're your buddies, they're your bros, your sisters, and they're the ones that you're sharing your experiences with, aren't they?
For sure. So yeah, it's like with your question about like where's your favorite places to ride, you know, when I was trying to think about where I love to ride, it was like they're all pretty fun, but they wouldn't be as fun as they were without like all the homies, you know. Like I think Wani Park, hands down, similar thing, right? That thing is just like a freestyle park, you know, with a rope tow, and I had never seen anything like it until I went there. And me, Cody, Arno, Jeremy, so many other cats, dude. We just sat there in session all day, dude. It was like, and it is the people that make the sport 100%, rather than the places, you know. So you guys, you get any spins down your grab? Like, what's your go-to grab? Like your ultimate favorite, just like no matter what jump you're on, you test it out. What's your go-to grab?
I personally would either be going a melon or a tail as just the first trial, see how it's flowing.
Your safety grab.
Safety grabs. There
you go, dude.
But yeah, preferably with a poke on the nose, on both. I like
always got a poke, dude. Absolutely.
But yeah, Slogs is the rail guy.
Yeah, if I'm doing air, which is very infrequently, it's going to be about 2 foot off the ground, 2 inches. Let's go for, and the grab I'll go for is wherever my hand tickles the board.
quick touch. Yeah, dude. I mean, 4 up is still 4 up, man. It's all good. So what happened this weekend, or did you not end up getting to go this weekend?
I had to do adulting. I had the kids for the weekend, and we had to do their school had a 50th birthday celebration, like garden party. So I had to take the kids to that.
Dude, it gets worse and worse, dude. The more you keep explaining. Missing out on mountainboarding for a garden party for a school 50th anniversary.
It's not so bad for him. He's making out like he's all our dumb boy. But Eamon went and visited him for the night, and he got out for a ride on the heaps.
I did get out for a ride yesterday. Got out with Eamon. That was good.
That's rad. Heck yeah. Is Eamon still doing like some video edits still? Did you guys do a little filming or what?
He was filming, so him, Brindy, both Brins and Emlyn came down to Cornwall specifically to ride this. It's called The Track.
And I've just sent a picture of the track to our messenger group so you can see it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they've started there's a couple of little clips up on Facebook or Insta that Matt's put up today and the boys have. So they were down filming for that, and I think Eamon will be putting a little edit out, whether it's for the Brim brothers or what I'm assuming. Probably release on their little channel over the next week or 2, I should think.
Cool.
But yeah, they were throwing down. So there was some nice moves being thrown there. That it was I've known the owner of the place, and he was a little bit dubious about having boards in there because it's, not necessarily within the confines of their disclaimer sort of stuff. But even he was like absolutely blown away by the end of the session. It's like, he didn't think that it would work. Mountain boarders it looks too flat to have the flow that it does, but it just works. It just works.
That's cool.
But anyhow, so what is your local park, your local track? Where are you? If you're not getting a ride in with the homies, that sounds so weird in an English accent. With the homies, where dost thou ride?
We'll go, or I'll go to the University of Utah still. So that questionnaire clip that you posted, like all of those spots were at the U, and super nice because you could just ride the train up, and you can take it like 3 stops up, and it dips you up to the top of the university, and you can just ride back down to the campus, catch the train, do it again. So you can take laps, and all of those spots were pretty well in a line. So you just ride down to your stairs, hang out on the stairs for a second, then you ride down to that boulder, and then you ride down to the drop, and then you ride down. Van Dewitt, dude, he has names for everything, right? So you would go past the Student Union Center, and you drop into the Dragon's Tail, which was like, this grassy, like, Dragon's Tail, right? So you can pump all these rollers, do all these jumps. Then from there, you would go to the Black Mamba, which is like a tarmac bike trail for the bikers and longboarders to go down. But the university used to be super popular for downhill longboarding,
right? And
over the years, they've tried to like longboard proof the campus, which has only made it more fun because they put more stairs and more grass and more ledges in and stuff. So we'll keep coming back until we've been chased out of there a couple of times for sure. You know, back in the height of like the anti longboarding campaigns that they would, you know, throw out there, like we'd be chased out of there by campus security and everything else, man. It was pretty intense, but I'll still go back there all the time. And you can even just go to the parking lot where we park to go to catch the train. Like you can go to the top of the hill and you can still carve and warm up and jib and sesh up there too. So it's pretty rad.
Could you potentially do a single line if you're saying it's at the top to the bottom of a hill? Can you do a single line hitting all these spots on one route, do you reckon, without, or is it a push in between the spots?
You can ride to every single one of them. So like, so the typical ride down would be you get off the train, go through like the Frisbee golf course, which is all grass and hilly, and then you'd get to, you know, one stair set, which is that double 7 stair, and then you could ride down through the Black Mamba, and you'd get to the 2 handrails or stairs. You can do whichever. Loop back around, wall ride the boulder, go down to the Dragon's Tail, and yeah, dude, like it's all pretty well in line. There's no like trekking or, you know, or very many side quests to get to anything. You know, if you're hopping up on roofs, that's a different story. But for the most part, like you can do a lap in 15 or 20 minutes and do like 2 handrails and 5 stair drops and a couple of grassy bumps and some ledges.
And you mentioned obviously that you're, due to the world, job, grow, adulting and stuff like that, that you're obviously not riding as much as you once were. How often, if you don't mind, are you managing to get out, you know, once a week, once a month, or what's your?
Probably once a month nowadays. But we'll go to, and mountain biking is huge here too. So we have like a lot of bike parks now. And so there's a bike park down the street we can go to, kind of pump around the track. But usually about once a month. But we did get down for a couple of days in Moab also.
Was that on the recent trip with that I've seen pictures of online?
Yeah, back in April.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. So that was super cool, and it was really good to get back on the board for there. But yeah, man. So yeah, probably about once a month. But I'll still mountain bike. I'll still rock climb. You know, it's just easier to get a group of people together to go rock climb or mountain bike, or take the dog to the dog park kind of thing. Slogs is good,
dude. I don't believe it's him. I've been talking to the slogs that I can't see. I'm not sure that one that we can see is real slogs.
I've dialed in on my phone.
Okay. Turn it landscape for us then.
Hang on, bear with me. Let me.
That's better. Oh, we can't hear you though.
Oh, it's connecting to the audio.
It's coming.
Good.
Are you there?
I'm there, man.
Hey. For those of you that are listening, we had a request that we be a bit more visually descriptive. Slogs has now joined the video call. We can see him as well as hear him.
You lucky guys.
Hey.
And he's wearing his maroon longboard skateboard t-shirt. He's looking very cleanly shaven.
Yeah, got me down, man.
There you are.
Yeah.
So
You are looking very cleanly shaven, aren't you?
Yeah,
I can see your chin.
It's a bit hot, isn't it, at the moment? So I've taken the beard off.
And shaving the legs as well.
Always. Right. Oh, that's better.
Right,
back to it. Where were we?
frequency of riding.
Yeah, we were talking about riding. Talk us through what this recent trip to Moab in April. Who was there and what went down and how did it come about? Obviously, I mean, I assume just some little WhatsApp group or whatever. You just said, right, we're going to ride. It seemed like it was kind of like detached. There were just like little crews who were getting something from everybody, and then everybody met up. But as I understood, Jay Lee and Dan Dworkin. So Dan and Mitch Siegel are both responsible for organizing the World Mountainboard,
U.S. Opens in Aspen Snowmass. So Jay Lee and Dan and Mitch all kind of got together and wanted to do like a 20-year anniversary of people going to Moab for the first time, or rather from like the first Moab meetup. So so it was like Dan Dworkin, Mitch Stiegel, Jay Lee, Benton Jackson, Van Dewitt, Halston Rhodes, Jumbo Jumbelik, Ted Ledoux. So we had like we were crew deep, man. It was pretty cool. And there was and Plunger,
pretty
Jason
OG crew. Isn't it?
Yeah, dude. There's a lot more clicking going on, and I think it was from everyone's knees. Like, you know, and we're like scaling, you know, these new zones that nobody had ridden before that like Jay Lee and Benton had found on like Google Maps, and so they were like, this might be a cool place to go check out. And then we're like scaling rock walls, trying to drop into these bowls, and Cody Stewart was there, Coney Kama was there. Yeah, dude, people just kept rolling up, man. It was cool.
That's heavyweight, man. That's a heavyweight crew.
Yeah, dude. And you know, like Cody never slows down either, right? So we Van Dewitt would always say, like, if you want to be king of the mountain, you got to start from the top. And so like Cody Stewart, dude, absolute king, man, like top of the plateau, and he just like, you know, points like insane lines, man. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's still as sharp as ever. Still as sharp as ever.
Seemingly as fearless as ever too, but like the sandstone is kind of hard, so if you go down on the slick rock, it's like sandpaper. So we would usually go through, like if we're doing a lot of riding, we could go through like a set of like your braking tire, you know, when you scrub speed. You'd go through one of those, and you know, in a weekend, like showing threads. Like that's how, you know, it's pretty rough. So we try to ride a little more conservatively, and you know, come out of it without some rash.
I'm glad you bring up that that question there about, or sorry, not about that question, that thought about scrubbing tires and losing tracks, because we do have a related viewer question, and that comes in quite randomly from James Wanklin, and his question is, if you lost a tire or lost a wheel whilst riding, which wheel would you choose? Front or back, hillside, front or back?
I would go this has happened before, and I don't think I could have really. I lost my right front, so on the nose, on my toe side, because you definitely no back wheels, because that's where all your control and you can always lean it back a little bit and kind of keep all the weight off the front end. But and if you want to, and I feel like I could modulate a little bit better with my nose toe side, so that you could dip it down just enough, scrape the axle, scrub a little bit of speed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, to James, dude, my toe side nose would be what I'd lose again if I could. But
I was chatting with him, and he sent that through, and I was like, that's strangely one of the best questions that we've ever had in a weird way, like absolutely useless, but unique, so unique that it's worthy.
Absolutely. And I think everybody else's riding style would be like, you know, it would differ, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
if you're a more nose heavy rider, you know.
I reckon I don't recall ever having lost a wheel, but in my mind, I had thought beforehand that I would rather it be my hillside rear, the tail, hillside tail.
That's what I would have gone with, because you can't see it.
Yeah, you've no idea that it's there, John. No, but in terms of like dropping a power, like, because my immediate reaction would be, oh shit, I've lost a wheel, I need to stop this thing, and I think I'd want to do a power slide, and like you say, that would probably be. That'd be the area that would get down to the ground first, wouldn't it? You'd still have the control of the other wheels.
Yeah, that is a good point.
But having never had the experience, Mason, I'm willing to sort of take your experience on board and think about that. Would I rather go toe side front?
I don't think toe side tail would be disastrous, right? Because that falls off, you're all loaded up on your back leg anyways, normally, right? So like as soon as your wheel falls off, you're taking an axle right to the ground, and maybe it locks up and maybe you go over, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, if it was front side and it caught and threw you, you'd know it was happening. But if it was the rear side, like we say, it's the same deal with knowing that it's gone. You're going to be gone over the falls,
right,
before you know it. Well, I've not taken one of them for a little while, thank goodness. So it's been a year or two since I've had a proper good neck shaker from going backwards over the heel edge.
Well, maybe that's why our 30s are such our best riding years as well, because we're like riding more conservatively to not fall and take as many diggers.
Well,
Dan wishes he's in his 30s still.
Yeah. What do you mean? 32. I have a stage age now. We're on.
Oh, is that your celebrity? So your celebrity age, is it?
That's it. A celebrity age, stage age. Yeah, I'll take that.
He's had some work done, can't you see?
It's not on his fucking face, is it?
So yeah. So you guys definitely had made some new memories in Moab this April gone.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was, and then so everybody flew into Salt Lake and then drove down to Dan and Plunger rented an RV and drove it down to Moab. So when they came back up, they crashed at my house. We went to a concert on that Sunday, and then everybody took off on Monday, man. So it was pretty cool. Excellent. So, and you know, being able to like return the hospitality from when we went and visited Plunger in Hawaii was super cool too. But yeah, dude, those guys, they haven't slowed down, regardless of what you may think. Like they're still down to have a good time, man.
They definitely there doesn't seem to be any signs of slowing down at the moment. I mean, it's nice. Mountain boarding seems a really cool place at the moment. Everybody seems pretty motivated and stoked for it right now. I don't know if that's, you know, just the fact that it's summer, coming into summer in Europe, but everybody's pretty buzzing over here.
Yeah, definitely. It's special to see like being a part of like the world mountain boarders around the world like Facebook page. It's really cool to see everyone's involvement and who, you know, the content that's coming out of everybody, the excitement, the stoke, the questions. You know, it's like the old Dirt DBX message boards rebirthed on Facebook, and it's really cool.
I don't know. The DBX is a DBX Facebook group, is there?
There used to be, like back when in the early 2000s when messenger boards were the thing.
Yeah,
messenger boards.
The ATB Sports Forum back in the day in the UK.
Right. So yeah, we had DBX, and DBX was like that's where the clips and the videos and the pictures would drop, and that's where people from around the world would, or you know, and around the country would kind of share in and say what's up. You know, like you know, I remember, I think it was like Ryan Slater dropped like some pretty badass like little street clip on DBX. Yeah. And you know, it's like, that was fucking sick. I want to go do that. And so that's kind of how we stayed in touch. And it seems like that's happening again with that Mountain Boarders Around the World Facebook page. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, between there and Instagram, I know a few of the youth are doing what's that, tic tac or whatever it's called,
right
ticky tacky something.
That's what the heel strappers have to do to get speed.
Oh no. It was going to be so nice. It was going to be so...
I told Cody I was coming on. I had to make, you know, just a campaign speech real quick. That's all.
But now I noticed something the other day, and I wasn't sure actually. It might have been in one of your photos. Have you reversed your trucks?
I have, yeah. So,
talk to me about this.
Good eye. So this came about back in like 2007. Casey Thomas had this. He's got like a pretty engineer, technical mindset, and so he like had this idea to flip the trucks around, because as you ride like say a 90, say you're riding like a Pro 100 or whatever, and you flip the trucks, it would give you the wheelbase of the 97, but the stability of the longer deck. And when you flip the axles, you get the long part of the axle on the rail or on the curb. And you know, you can lock up, you could hook up on, you know, rails, ledges, everything else quite a bit better versus you know, the traditional way. So I mean, the drawbacks and caveats are for probably people with like bigger feet for toe rub, because you are bringing the wheelbase in a little bit. But you know, I've done it for that long now, you know, almost 10, 15 years. So so we'll keep doing it, man.
It's not affected stability at speed or anything like that, or?
No, it doesn't seem to, but you do get a little bit more ride height out of your board too. So before, we're like bottoming out your deck on larger drops was a huge issue. Flipping the trucks raised your board up and would reduce like your deck slaps when you're landing. I will notice though too that like, so because your board more sits above the kingpin and not or even with the kingpin and not on top of the kingpin, how you initiate turns and how you're staying in turns is a lot different than, you know, like if you're swinging out or falling into.
Oh, I know. So, like the difference between riding a Randall skate truck and riding like an Indy style skate truck, where it kind of it's an over the top feeling as opposed to an underslung feeling. I know.
Right. Or the differences with like your ground industry is geometry versus MBS or Trampa, which is a similar dynamic.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, you know, as far as like stability goes, high speed stability, not really much differences. So, but I don't know. It's they call it Mormon trucks, converting your trucks, because, you know, Mormonism is huge. This is like the ground zero for Mormonism is Salt Lake City, Utah. So, they call.
Who did you say was who you crediting for the Mormon trucks?
I can't remember who called them Mormon trucks.
Or who was the first? Who was the first to flip then? Who was the first to flip?
I was the first to flip, but
right.
It was Casey Thomas's idea, but I was stupid enough to try it. But now it's like
I like you, Mason. I like you. Everybody needs someone like that in their life.
Yeah, I was always the guinea pig because I bounced. I was the youngest and most naive. So we built a jump. They throw me into it. They tell me to flip their trucks. I'd do it, you know. but it's worked out. But but I don't know who called them Mormon trucks at the beginning though. But anyways, yeah. So because they came out of Utah, and Utah's, you know, known for their Mormons, that's what that is. You convert your trucks to Mormonism.
I'm tempted to try. I've got a set of matrix up there. Although, yeah, that'd bring the wheel length in as well by flipping them out. Yeah.
So if all you rhythm cross cats out there riding your Pro 100s or whatever, your Comp 16s, shorten your wheelbase up a little bit, get a little bit more power out of those pumps and the smaller transitions, man.
Could also work on the Hero Pros, sit quite low to the ground as well. That could also be used to gain an extra few mil or so of hot ride height on those if you're rocking that style of truck.
Absolutely. So try it out. Let me know how it goes, man.
Yeah,
you could always it'll feel weird for sure, but you know, if you don't like it after a little while, then you know, you can always change it back.
Send it back. Well, I've got to check she's not looking or listening. I've got a Ground Industries en route.
Have you not told her yet?
No, I'll bring it in, right? And I'll put it with the rest of the quiver.
Look what someone's gifted me.
Yeah. and then one day she'll go, oh, there's a few more boards there than there was last time I looked. And I shall say, oh, is there?
Get out of my garage.
Yeah. I told you I'm busy, I'm doing stuff.
Gotta plead ignorance. Say I left the door open, and instead of missing mountain boards, there was another one. I don't even know. But...
I left the garage open one day, and I come home and somebody's put all these boards in here. I don't know.
Can you believe that happened to you too?
Yeah.
Do you get them all sent to work, Dan, to the work address rather than the home address, just in case you're not in?
No. My good friend and other collector, Paul Carter, is picking it up for me, and he's down this way in a few weeks' time. He works at doing training at fire stations, and yeah, he's coming down to my local fire station in a few weeks' time, so he'll bring it down to me.
Oh, that's handy, isn't it?
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. And this thing, Mason, it would have come out mid 2000s, I think, with the like the lady with the wings on the front.
Yeah. So is that the flight
light?
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly.
Flight light or the conflict or something?
Yeah.
I think it was a flight. I won one of those one time, and I like took the trucks off, and it just became my trampoline mountain board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy days. But this thing has been ridden 4 times, I think, since the guys had it, and it is literally fresh out the packet. You can
keep it there, keep it hidden away from your wife and from dust and from everybody else.
Yeah, it's got the bag as well. The bag's peachy clean. I mean,
sick. The GI, like the Ground Industries bag, like
yeah. I've got another one. I have got another one just down here. That I'm not going to get it out. But yeah, I've got another one down there that I use normally. But marketplace.
Yeah, dude.
Just keep a little check on them. I shouldn't be saying this, otherwise other people will be.
Yeah, you're just giving yourself more competitors for your fucking obsession with buying boards.
That's what you get for having a popular podcast, man.
That's it.
But I know we're finding boards on like Facebook Marketplace and like local Craigslist for like $50 to $100, and you know they don't know what they have. So
that's it. And when like say when they're box fresh, they're a steal at that price.
Right.
So can I have your crosshairs off it, Dan?
No. No.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'll take that as a maybe.
Hold on. I've got some rims down here you can have.
When are you leaving your garage open? I got you.
I have got a box of rims down here. I've got some tri-spokes you can have.
Oh yeah, are those all the old Mannix tri-spokes?
No, not the Man. Oh, I wish it were the Mannix. Weren't they magnesium, like CNC magnesium ones?
They did the pepper pot ones of those as well.
Yes, they did.
They were.
Oh, no, they're 5 spokes. I'm lying. They're not even 3 spokes. They're 5 spokes.
Ah, well, it's still an odd number of spokes, so you're on the right track.
I might have tri-spokes in there as well. I got a whole box of hubs and bits. Again, Facebook Marketplace, somebody local. She was rented a house and she's putting stuff up in the loft, and there was a load of old decks, mountain board decks, and
was that the Apollo ones?
Whose house was it?
So it was rented before at some point by a couple called Sally and something or other. I can't remember his name. but they ran a little youth project down in Cornwall near me, and they used to bring different youth to the competitions and stuff like that, and ride locally at spots down here back in the mid 2000s. And they had lived in this house at some point before the current tenant. The current tenant went up into the loft and found all this stuff and said to the landlord, well, what do I do with it? And he says, well, do whatever you want with it. She said, can I sell it? So she put it up a marketplace, and I went round and picked them up, a box of, but it's going to go to landfill, and there ain't no other mountain boarder for 100 miles. If I don't buy it, no one's going to buy it.
You had to save it. You rescued that stuff.
Exactly.
You did it. You did it for the greater good.
Yeah. You don't sound like a crackhead at all, Dan.
No. Listen, if I wasn't fanboy
how much
enough,
do you want for that stuff?
You're saying all the right things there.
Yeah, dude. Dan, right as you were talking, you kept scratching incessantly, and like a few teeth fell out of your head at the same time. Now we're not talking about mountain boarding anymore. You look normal. Or like Gollum or whatever from Lord of the
Rings. That's a new one for me. I like that one. I'm going to go to a reader's question here, a viewer's question. And we've got a video for this one. We've got 2 videos and one more just asked. And this first video, as I said, I was out at the weekend. We've got a few in-person questions for you. And where are we? Here. Get your volume up. We'll try on. Hopefully you'll be able to see and hear this. Live action questions.
Yo Mason, it's Eamon here. I'm just wondering when the clip of the triple backflip is coming out, and also I want to know how many attempts it took to do the nose manual up the ledge and back down again.
Hey Mason, Andy Brink here. How you doing? Yeah, the triple backflip. I want to see the end of the clip, mate. We want to see it. But my main question: how are you making your Jesus persona even better?
Hey Mason, Evelyn here. I just want to know when the clip of the triple backflip comes out. How on earth? How many tries did it take to do the nose manual up? That's pretty sick. See you later.
Cheers, boys.
It had to come up at some point. I mean, your video parts had to come up at some point. But yeah, without taking away from their question, there were a few other people that wanted to ask that question. Talk us through the triple backflip, and then we can go on to the nose manual bit, because that bit, whoa, that is proper jizzy. So
yeah, dude. So the triple, I guess like that was kind of. We had 2 attempts. We did two different settings. The first one was being pulled in by like a side-by-side into like a 25-foot gap into like this pile of dirt with a resi top. And that one was the closest, and unfortunately, like we claimed it collectively. Me and Parker decided to claim it, before we got the second attempt, because it was so close. But what ended up happening was we went 4 down and slid out on the resi because it was so dusty, because we were outside on this like dairy farm. So hit 4 down, slid out, hit my head, got a concussion, and left, regrouped like a month or 2 later at the Godfrey trucking compound, which is, if you're familiar with Nitro Circuits, you're familiar with the Godfreys and maybe the Godfrey compound. Gavin was kind enough to let us use that rolling ramp for the world's first mountain bike triple backflip that he did. And we took a second attempt there, and that one was just overshot and over rotated. So even before talking about doing this podcast, Parker and I were talking about releasing the few attempts, kind of doing a small edit with both locations, and a little explanation about like where we are or where we were with it and kind of what we've done since. So with the crash on the second triple backflip, that kind of like ruined it for me. You know, I was kind of just like over it, you know, and reassess when we're not trying to rush something to make it happen, when we have a facility that we can do that. But yeah, dude, like 100%, like the closest it got was 4 down and a slide out. So I wouldn't consider it landed. And well, yeah, dude, we absolutely claimed it. We counted our chickens way before they hatched on that one. So
1 second there, you're saying that what I grasped from that was that there is a chance that you may retry it at some point if the right conditions align for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and now with mountain biking and with mountain biking training facilities being what they are, we've got a Woodward just up the road with an airbag and a resi lander, and a pretty decent setup. So I think, you know, we can readdress and find a way to make that happen. So
tomorrow,
let's get it done, man.
Hey, man.
No, I mean, no, and it doesn't, right? Like, it doesn't feel good having to like step away from something like that and reassess, because like, you know, that's the one that I know if I do it, I'll never have to do it again. And it's just always something that's kind of been looming for me personally. Yeah. But like logistically, dude, it's just like, you got to find a bag, you got to find a hill big enough, you got to find a ramp big enough, you got to do all of these things. Like, you know, we were using borrowed ramps, propped up, you know, like probably 3 feet to get enough lift. So, but yeah, dude, like, and at a few of the contests we've been around it, I've shown like the clips that I have on my phone of this over rotated, over jumped, like landed like way to flat triple attempt. It was like a 3.5 right to back. So it was pretty, it was pretty gnarly. So with that being said, expect to see like a video explanation of like kind of what we're doing, or rather what we did, where we're at, and you know, how we hope to kind of move forward from this, you know. So
so how long ago was your last attempt?
5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah. And that was I don't know, here, maybe I can pull it up for everybody else to see. Nah, I'm gonna wait. Give you a reason to come back.
Make them wait. If you've got projects on the go, make them wait. Make us wait.
Yeah. No, I think I'd like to do just like, yeah, like a formal release, something to come out that says, you know, like, hey, like, sorry we left all you guys hanging, you know, like, you know, we were definitely way ahead of ourselves. I was ahead of myself for sure, but like, you know, it looked good, everything was in place, and then yeah, 100% over rotated and died. But I'm working with Parker right now to figure out, you know, yeah, how to most tactfully do so. So
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I was gonna ask, how do you even go about how do you train for that? I mean, are you comfortable double flipping generally?
Yeah, double flips I got those off of like pretty small setups. So shorter, think like if you ever saw like the MBS Core Tour or MBS School Tour setup, like setups like that big, I could, you know, double flip. So that's where, you know, in being able to get the double flips around on smaller setups like that, Parker and I were like, dude, we could probably do the triple. And kind of did like a proof of concept in a smaller jump with a smaller bag. And then we were doing like the Thrillbillies Nitro Circus like live shows for a minute. And we had access to that airbag and to that jump. So we were just like, let's find a place where, you know, we can set this up, we can put the resi down, and we can find speed somehow, either get towed in by a side-by-side or whichever. But yeah, man, like in those situations, we were doing triples into airbags, making sure that we landed 4 down in the bag, you know, at least like 10 times or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we'd assess the footage of where I was landing the most consistently, and then we'd pull the bag out and then pile the landing up. and shipped it. So with the first weekend's attempts, the landing bag was next to the dirt landing, and then we put the jump in relation to the landing where we thought it should be, and that was actually pretty good. And then in the second attempt, we put the airbag in front of the jump, made a mark where I was landing on the airbag, pulled the bag out, piled dirt with wood chips. There was no resi the second time. It was just like loosely packed dirt that I was landing into. And the second attempt, it was colder and it was windy when we were doing the airbag session.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't going as high and I wasn't going as far, and I was throwing it harder so I could make the landing. And by the time we got the bag pulled out and the landing place, it was warm and it was calm. So like I did my first test hit, overshot the landing. And then Parker and I were like, well, I usually pop a little higher and I don't go as far when I flip. So this should ideally line me up pretty good for landing it. So I must have like pumped real hard into the transition and off the lip and just threw it super hard. And I landed further than I did on the test hit, which was down in the transition of the landing. And yeah, man, just opened up about halfway, opened up a quarter of the way through, and then just like slammed straight to my hip and back on the past the third rotation.
Did you walk away at the end of that session?
I did, more like hobbled away for sure. But dude, knocked the wind out of me.
Damage or anything then from that?
That just kind of burned me out on mountain boarding for a while, right? Like overall, like my groin, like my hip or whatever was so swollen that I had to like use a crutch to walk for a minute, like a day. But otherwise, like no concussions, no broken bones. I don't think, everything like within the week, I was like pretty okay. But I was wearing butt pads, knee pads, elbow pads, helmet, like stuff like that. So, mostly just impact, but everything was good. But it definitely burned me out on mountain boarding for sure. Like that was in October, and then there was like a month before snowboarding started. So after like I put the mountain board away that year and went into snowboarding, that was kind of it for me. I was kind of just like, well, let's leave that over there for a little while, and then come back to it when I feel like it, or when like the opportunity presents itself, not actually like go out and seek to ride, so
it definitely happens from time to time when you're in it, when you're in something at a certain level and it's to the point of obsession. I think sometimes it's like you've got to take a little break, haven't you, to give yourself time, your own mind to sort of have its own time away from thinking about mountain boarding, like, because it does take over. I mean, I say that despite the fact we've still managed to get one out nigh on every week of these episodes, it don't mean that at times I'm like, I don't want to be doing this week, but yeah, we get there in the end. So going to the two other questions within that clip, went there. And one was the nose manual to up and down the ledge, and the other one was throwing the Jesus game. Have you still got your long hair? Or is it time?
No, dude, I'm all,
looking trim, brother. Looking trim.
Yeah. No
Jesus game no more.
No, dude, I don't know, man. If I could grow it back, I probably would, but it came. Maybe that's where all my powers were too. I don't know.
Hey man, Nicolas Cage. Let me say one that way. Nicolas Cage. He's still got his powers, and look how far. I mean, he's gone from 4 head to 5 to 6 to 7, 8 head now.
Right. So, no, dude. If I could, I would, man. But me cutting my hair, like I had to renew my passport and I'd had my hair like that for 10 years. So I was kind of just like, maybe I'll switch it up a little bit. And, you know, if you ever remember like Doc Brown from Back to the Future,
Yeah.
like long hair, but big cul-de-sac on the top, like just wily looking dude. Like, man, if I let it get that bad, there's no coming back from it. So kind of just, so yeah, dude, just trimmed it up, and my ears are a lot colder in the wintertime now, that's for sure. But yeah, dude, that's that answer. Triple is a possibility. Growing my hair back is not.
And the last one for this, and we've got to delve into this. Two videos there. One is very obviously sharing spots with the other one. 3 minutes in Utah, was it? And I forget the name. It was the MBS. You know, welcome to the team, I believe.
It was like
the one had the end
promo.
with the triple, and the other one was just looked like a street line. And I'm assuming would that be the university that you were talking about earlier? Some of those spots.
Yeah, absolutely. So a majority of that was the university. Other than, I think in that video there's some mega ramp stuff in it as well. But that was. I mean, that ledge is rad because, you know, you can ride it in so many different ways. So I first saw that ledge in a NVM, a mountain board video magazine, and I think like Van or somebody like 50-50'd down that ledge, and that has since been skate stopped, but you can still jump over the flat and ride down it. And then that turned into manualing down it, and then that turned into trying to, like, we would bungee up the ledge and then jump off the ledge back onto the platform to what you see now, like nose manual up, nose manual down, ride up, 360 nose roll, ride it back down. I think I got, and Van's sitting on a bunch of footage still that we need to get. Maybe we'll do like a retro or a throwback release or something, like get all the footage digitized that we haven't released yet and like ship that out. We've talked about that as well. But there's like 360 nose roll, 180 outs off that ledge. Like there's a bunch of cool little tech shit, man. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like I say, now I can put those visuals with your description earlier of your local spot as such, that it does look a sweet place to ride.
Yeah, and that's like, and you drop a rock wall right behind that, and after you drop the rock wall, you just hook a left, and then you're on top of that platform to ride down that ledge. So like, it's just so accessible. Like, it's so conducive to just like creativity and riding and having a good time. And everybody can stop and hang out and cheer you on, or you can cheer each other on, and just session.
And how many takes did it take then, do you think, for that particular one shot of the nose manny up, manny back?
That was probably seshing for about an hour, I would say. And it was like, it just has to come together. Either you'd go up and you'd go up too far and you'd lose all your momentum and you couldn't hold on to it. And, you know, or the most frustrating parts is when you'd have it almost all the way to the end and then you just put it down too soon and then you have to hop off the ledge. But like to get it like as solid as I did and as far up as I did, about an hour. So I mean, I don't know how many tries that equates to though. Probably, I don't know, two tries a minute times 60 minutes. So maybe 120 tries, I guess you'd say. Wow. But when we revisited that for the 3 days in Utah video, you know, it was like 10 minutes up and down. You know, so once you get it, once you feel how it's supposed to feel, it comes back pretty quick.
Yeah, I bet.
It is sick. It's a sick shot.
Yeah. And that
I appreciate that.
The other, you know, the one line that you did with video section there, where it's the ender of the section is, I mean, I love putting a nose stool on, but even now to this day I still haven't seen one, and I haven't attempted, to be fair, but maybe I should start attempting. Yeah, nose stool, and then mid mid-stool, you've got a decent stool, hop full 180 round, catch it on the same nose. So now it's into a backside nose stool, and then out. Oh, you know.
Yeah. That was a good one too. And like I greased that line so many times. The holdup with that one was Cody was doing follow cam at that point, and he kept fucking it up. so I'd get some banger runs down, and that was probably like another hour-long session. So I could get that same line down like multiple times, but either we were too far away, too close, couldn't follow quickly enough, that kind of stuff. So
it's a fucking nightmare when you got someone who's really shit at camera work, isn't it, Dan?
We'll leave that one for another time there.
I don't know how many times I need to apologise for that.
So, but that one line edit, that was we filmed that in addition to the strapless video that we did for the 4 Down project.
Yeah. And
we had to meet the time requirements, that had to just be a separate thing at that point. But I really would have liked to have seen it being the edit, but I think we lost that contest by like a vote. So one of my friends who said they voted didn't vote. And then if you're watching this, you know who you are, because I don't, but you're responsible.
Now, you have visited the UK and Europe and that before, have you not?
I have, yeah. So we're lucky enough to be kind of like lumped into the world or the US mountain board team, which is officially unofficial. We take it with a grain of salt, whatever. But in being able to go to Serbia and ride when we're out there, we take that time to, make it to Germany and Belgium and the Netherlands and stuff as well. So I've never been to the UK, which would be rad, like, because that is, one of the, the epicenter of mountain boarding as far as I'm concerned right now. And it has been a mainstay for a long time. So I'd like to get there and like just ride and hang out with everybody. Go to Bugs, that'd be sick.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish that the heyday of centers was still a thing. Maybe it'll return. There are still. I mean, we recorded last week with Manga Atahu. That's what I'm saying it. I've said it. I've gone for it. So people are trying to build still. And I hope that returns to the UK. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard one to do, without necessarily including bikes into it. But that's not a bad thing. I don't see that as a bad thing. Bugs has embraced bikes now. It worked at Hart Hill with bikes and Court Farm, which at the time was Hereford Board and Bike Park. So I think there's opportunity for that sort of symbiotic relationship to exist, but we need mountain board owners or operators to do that, to tweak the park in the way that makes it more rideable for mountain boarders.
Absolutely. And I think with the popularity, especially like in our area, mountain biking is huge. It keeps getting bigger. So with the advent of all of these like state or like municipal run bike parks, like, we have tons of pump tracks around here. A few, we kind of got to work at them, but we can still do some fun jump stuff. But like, it's just becoming more accessible for us. So I think if we could get out, I think now would be a time, if any, for another resurgence of mountain boarding on this side of the pond as well. But like, that's my intention. The older that I get and the more I work, I hope it's just to have like a big piece of property somewhere that I can just like throw up a park and then go ride.
Yeah, that's a lottery win for me.
Right. So yeah, maybe my like 20-year hiatus is just is me appreciating mountain boarding so much so that I can work to be able to do it later in life or something like that. So
don't leave it too late in life, because otherwise you're retired and unable to do it. But yeah, I even now it'd be a dream to be able to make or have a place that just made enough money for me to survive on, and operate as a park would be the dream, wouldn't it?
Right. I think the guys at Wani, like your own, and I forget his brother's name, but those two running Wani Park the way that they do, it seems to work for them. So, you know, whatever they're doing, their business model and how they integrate the community to subsidize that park, however they do, like it's got to be, you know, it's got to be able to be replicated somehow, right?
Yep.
So
without a doubt.
But, so that's what I'm doing. I'm working hard for you guys.
So other than the sort of the look into the behind the scenes of the triple, we're not expecting to see any or the retro video, not expecting to see any new footage or new videos put out by you as such, any new edits or anything over this summer potentially, or anything like that?
Nothing as of right now, but I mean, if I commit to something onto this podcast, I have to do something, right?
No, well, then do not commit, because you will get peer pressured.
Right.
Yeah, commit.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, right. Claiming it once is excusable. Claiming it twice, so you start making enemies. But however, no, it's I've made it a personal goal to be writing more, just in general. And if the way that you know, I share footage now just becomes like onesie twosie clips on Instagram, you know, or whatever on TikTok, even though I don't wear heel straps.
Hashtag free your feet. Oh no, that's
free
what
your
feet.
But yeah, so it's already been my goal to ride mountain board more, and I guess, you know, I can always like find ways to put stuff out there. So yeah, other than the retro clip and like trying to get old footage digitized, I don't have anything in the works yet. But I mean, this is my commitment to at least be more active on social media with cool new stuff.
It was certainly joyous to see you in those short clips of Moab a month or so back. It was great to see us all riding, especially all riding together in such an iconic place. Hey, I've got to ask, I don't believe it's yours. Is it Benton Jackson with the binding list board that I see rocking around at the moment?
Yeah. And he's got like a matrix. I think he's just on springs, no eggs or anything. And it's just as loose as it gets. And nice. He just drops it so good. Like his butt is on the ground, like old, like Z-boy, like Bertelmann style turns, you know, like he gets after it, dude. He's between him and Jason Lee, like those two make mountain boarding so elegant out there. It's insane. Like I hold on. I don't know what it looks like when I do it, but it feels like I'm holding on for dear life anytime I'm like just pointing it down the chute or whatever. But those dudes, like, they just get down and they carve. They call it soul carving.
Yeah. Well, they've definitely got a little spice to their way they ride, haven't they? That's for sure.
Absolutely. They haven't got enough flat landings on their knees. So like I can't get that low physically, man, because I don't bend that way.
So I'm going to give another question now from the viewers. We've got two more to do. This one comes in, and it's just a verbal one from me, and that comes in from Antonio Maceira of Portugal, the Sintra crew down there. And his quite simple question for you: what's your preference, dirt or street?
Man, I think.
Oh no, has he stolen a 10-setter?
Yeah,
What's he got?
So Slog says is quick fire question, and I think Antonio's just stolen one of them.
that's right. We'll ask again.
No,
It's a decent question, Antonio. I like it.
Do we need to dive in, or do you need like a quick? Do you want just like a one-word answer, or do you want
dive
like
in,
or an
dive in.
explanation?
We're an hour and 20 minutes. We're good.
I don't know, man. I guess it goes back to more or less like not where you're riding, but who you're riding with. But to that effect, I think if I was riding by myself and I had to either go pick street or dirt, I would like to go find like just a decent little 1 or 2 or 3 pack of jumps in the dirt or the grass somewhere, and just go do some fun little like just dirt jumping, good old fashioned dirt jumps, man. But I do love the street too. Damn it, Antonio.
Yeah, damn it, Antonio.
What about mountain boarding? Yes. Yeah, man, that's a tough one. I guess maybe street, because even street you can still find like little grassy knolls and stuff to kind of go jib on and stuff too. So that's a hard question.
Look like your university campus, then.
Say what?
I said if we're talking street as in that university campus there.
Yeah, I do. Final answer, Antonio, street.
With dirt on it.
With dirt on it, because technically streets do have dirt, right? So yeah. All right, Antonio, yeah, dude. Final answer, street.
There we go. I'm gonna might as well do the last one as well whilst we're here, and that comes in another in-person one from the weekend. Mr. Matthew Brind, and let me get it turned up on the landscape for you. Live on the spot, Matt Brind, Mason Moore.
Mason Moore. All right, first off, Mason, you have got the gnarliest mountainboard send of all time with trying to attempt that triple backflip. I don't care what anybody says. That is the biggest, ballsiest send of all time, so mad props. My question, though, is how's the ukulele career going? Like, are we going to hear any new songs soon? Like, I mean, Kind of Smooth, What You Talking Boot is like an absolute classic. I'm just waiting for the next platinum hit, you know?
Oh, you can just about see that the track in the background there.
Dude, that is sick, man. It looks good. I did see Matt post some stuff from there, and it looks gangster. That place looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, it is. So yeah, I'm really glad that he asked that question there. Again, it's like for me, it feels like you're the brother that I've never had. I'm also a ukulele player.
You can have a fucking dueling fucking ukulele on.
Yeah. First up, shout out to Matt. Miss you, dude. Hope you're good. Ukulele, man, that was fun. The backstory behind that one is I was gifted a ukulele from Natasha, a mountain boarder from Russia. She brought it to, I think she brought it to Serbia one time, or she brought it to another place and didn't want to fly it home. So I took it, she gave it to me, and I was leaving and I left it at Nikki G's house for like 2 years. And we finally met back up in France for the Compiègne World Championships. And I had my ukulele back, and we were like sitting around the fire, drinking, hanging out. And I was like strumming the ukulele, and Connor was like, dude, I hope, he's like, you sure play, he said something about playing ukulele better than I mountain board, or hope he plays or something. So he threw a jab, and I was like, oh no. So then I started playing the ukulele, just strumming it randomly, and then just started like a low key uke diss track on on Connor. So it was hilarious, dude. I'm so glad I remembered to brought that up. And I have actually been taking banjo lessons. So
you've gained the string.
Yeah, and a little bit more methodology, a little bit too. So, but I have my guitars hanging up on like a barrel stave with like little guitar hooks. So I have like my ukulele, the banjo, and the guitar just all hanging up, man. And I tune them all every once in a while and like give them a flick. But yeah, man, the uke is a fun one.
You can never fail to not smile when playing one. Let's be honest. To strum chords, it ain't going to get much easier.
Right.
And yeah, if you can play chords, you can pretty much play any song.
Right. And the way that they're tuned is interesting. And then I guess you play it from the bottom up, not the top down.
Yeah.
Which seems backwards, but yeah, dude, it's fun to just like, you know, whip it out and talk shit around the campfire. It's pretty fun. So also sorry, Connor. I hope.
That's all right.
I love you.
I've just got the title there for the episode. It's fun to whip it out and toss it around the campfire. Thank you for that question, Matt Bryn.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man.
But yeah, Slugs, have you got a 10 set?
Well, I've got a 9 set now, haven't I?
9 set, and Tony, fucked it up.
I won't even ask it again anyway.
Give a different answer. Yeah, you can give both now.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. Controversy in the Mason Moore podcast. He changes his answer halfway through.
Right. 10 questions, quick fire. Don't think about them too much. And there's no wrong answers. Possibly. Right. Reg or goof?
Reg.
Street or dirt?
Street. No dirt.
No.
Yes. Anyway.
Right. Free ride or park?
Park.
What, even though you got Moab on your doorstep?
Dude, Moab is a free ride park.
But freestyle or border cross?
Freestyle. Honestly, dude, border cross is scary, especially in Serbia. But you have 4 people going down the hill at the same time with the common goal. If I get fucked up, I want it to be my choice, not one of the other 3 dudes. You know what I mean?
That's a very bad point.
Favorite comp you've ever been to?
The Belgian Open at Wani.
What year was that one?
2014, 2015. That was Arno. I think Arno had that contest. That was his jam.
Happy days.
Was that just because of the atmosphere there, or the riding that was going down as well?
I did win that contest, but it was also the atmosphere, and you know, it was a culmination of everything. But you know, certainly coming away with like a first place was cool. I beat Nikki G, so there's that. The one time. But yeah, again, I think atmosphere. It was just a completely different vibe. You know, it was like a Himalayan mountain town soul searching experience, I guess. It was something completely different than I had experienced with any other contest that I had, you know, been a part of previously.
So when you do the comps, are you racing as well, or are you just literally there for the freestyle, or do you actually do the 4 manners?
I'll do both, yeah. And you know, if I'm there, I might as well ride. But you know, if like, you know, Serbia, for instance, it's just being able to finish and survive, like, especially at this age, where you know, like, happy to walk away, you know, and I'll ride, and if I continue to do well, you know, I'll continue to try to do well, but you know, I don't want to be there to stifle anybody else's chances at winning just because, you know, I'm like half-assing, you know what I mean? But my passion and my focus would definitely be on freestyle for sure.
Favorite border cross track you've ridden then?
honestly, the U.S. Open's border cross track in Snowmass, Colorado. Or you could, but even Compiègne was pretty fun. But I would still say the U.S. Open's border cross track. Like it was a good flow. Because even like the Compiègne used to have that huge Wu tang like right at the beginning. So you drop in all hot, then you have to scrub all your speed, and then pump through. But I would say the U.S. Mountain Board Opens track up in Snowmass, which was also a world downhill track for mountain biking at one point. So,
right, favorite trick you've nailed?
Backside rodeo. They feel super cool. I mean,
They look super cool.
Yeah, dude, they feel cool because you just like throw a 180 real quick and then you just throw it. Yeah, man. And the way it comes around, like as soon as you lock it in, you can just watch the landing the whole time and you kind of like move your head around it and land it. So backside rodeos feel the coolest.
Favorite trick you've seen someone else do?
Who has? I would say probably Matt Bryn's got some pretty good steeds these days. His backflip 1-footers, like all of his 1-foot variations that he's doing right now, those are super sick, dude. He's just got those things like dialed in, dude. Just fucking blip and out, dude. It's pretty sick. So I would say, yeah, any 1-foot variation that Matt's doing right now.
Yeah, that'll stoke his ego. Cheers for that.
Yeah.
Right.
I was hoping he was going to do one off of the drop this weekend, but he didn't.
Lazy.
He could have 1-footed that drop.
Well, had I known, can I change
360? Was, you know.
Can I change my answer? Had I known that? No.
Yeah. Choose Andy Bryn, whatever trick he's doing.
The opposite of what? No. I maintain.
Right. Favorite rider to ride with?
Halston Rhodes, or for sure,
yeah.
or even Matt Silva. I used to love riding with Matt Silva. Like he and I would just feed off of each other at demos and at contests. He's one of the reasons. Well, I think he is the reason that even like the double backflip got landed in the United States. Was we were just like fucking around in a foam pit one time before, and we tried doubles, and then we took it to the ramp the next day. So I would say like I progressed the most with Matt Silva, 100% hands down. So person I used to ride with, Matt Silva all day. Favorite person to ride with now, Halston Rhodes or even Cody Stewart. So, but Halston's just super steezy too. I don't know if you've seen any like much of Halston Rhodes' stuff, but he's got like the best style. So he corks the spins real nice. He looks good.
Happy days.
Right. Final question. Favorite rider to watch?
Favorite rider to watch? Yeah, I would say Halston Rhodes still. Again, just because he certainly isn't doing like these gangster 1-foot variations or like the Bryns are, and those guys are super good. But I draw a lot of inspiration from Halston, and so I'd say Halston all day.
Oh, should we go and checking him out straight after this podcast?
Yeah, dude, go watch like the Let It Happen video. I mean, I think you'll see, if we can do like this throwback edit, you'll see a lot of his stuff come through for sure. So
now we've mentioned competitions a couple of times here and there, and most recently you said about your favorite border cross track being at the US Open in Snowmass. Is there going to be a US Open this year?
I don't think there's anything. There's this, I don't know if you know Jay Morrison.
Yeah, we're doing the Colorado events.
Yeah.
Do they run the Colorado?
Yeah, so I'm not sure how the politics or the hierarchy works there, but he seems to be organizing a lot of stuff in Colorado with the help of like AJ and including him, a lot of stuff in the Northwest with like Alex Rossiter and the Shred Fest Northwest stuff. even something in Arizona. There was something in Arizona. So there's a few little like gatherings and like smaller contests, if you will, but on the grand scale, like they used to be with the Oktoberfest.
AMA sanctioned sort of things.
Yeah, and I think the difficult thing right now is, like the U.S. is very spread apart, right? Like Texas is the size of Western Europe, right? So you have you have the quite a few countries within 2 or 3 hours of each other. So your international ridership is huge in that region, as where the United States, like it's a 12-hour day by airplane if you wanted to get from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I think like that really stifles progress here. And then also just being as, I don't know, because we don't have mountain board centers like the UK did and does. But that's just another reason I think that people aren't really like holding on to it, because there isn't a facility or anything to facilitate mountain boarding.
Yeah, I think obviously we know for what we see through the social medias and the videos and the people that we know historically from this side of the Atlantic, it's very easy to forget how spread apart you all are. You say, oh, the Americans, and like you say, when Texas is the size of Western Europe, it's like, it's a bit different, and there is quite a decent scene in the UK. There's still a reasonable amount of riders dotted around the country. So it and being such a small country as well, it makes it again a little bit easier for us to maintain social gatherings.
You go from one end of the country to the other in 10 hours, can't you?
Yeah.
Which is, and you pick up so many riders along the way too, right? Like
that's it.
and you've always got a place to, and that's, you've got places to stay all along the way too, and whether or not you're in the US or you're in Europe or you're in Eastern Europe or whatever, like, dude, it's easy to get around when you mountain board because you've got so many places to go, people to see, places to stay. But man, this doesn't make it conducive to like quick contests, here and there all the time, So if there's usually one big contest a year, and that's when everybody can pool their resources and make it to one place at one time.
Now, bearing in mind, there's been some very sad news this week in the community, and that's that the 2022 World Champs have been cancelled over in Australia. Fortunately, there has been a little bit of a sweetener left in the sort of soft announcement of there being a World Downhill Championships to be held in France next year, a week either before or after, I can't remember which, either week or before or after the normal border cross and freestyle world champs to be held at Compiègne. And obviously you've been there before. Is it something that we could maybe try and tempt you out and over for? I'd hope that there'll be a representation of some degree or some description from the US.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, dude. And that's like, over the last 5 years, the most that I have ridden is in Europe, to get back in with the homies. Right. So, you'd have a harder time talking me into going to like Colorado or Arizona to go ride mountain board than it would be to get to France. So for sure, dude. Yeah. I'll see you guys there.
I like that.
Well, that is good news. That is good news. I mean, I'm super geared up to know now that there's the chance to unify, to have an overall. I mean, not that I stand a chance of winning it, he says, but you never know.
Dude.
But there is, somebody will be crowned an overall champion there, hopefully, of all disciplines. And I think that's an exciting. That's something that we've not had in mountain boarding for a long time.
Yeah, you do like your triple crown, if you will, right? We used to have the triple crown here in the States. We do like 3 different contests, and each contest would be border cross and freestyle. And at the end of these 3 contests, whoever had more points in each sector would be like your overall border cross and your overall freestyle. And then should your border cross and freestyle points be the most, then you would have that overall championship as well.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. That was the last time I rode with Dylan in the United States, Dylan Warren, because he came out for, the closing of that Triple Crown, and that was super cool. But to have just straight up 3 disciplines and not like a melding of all of those, but to just have like a border cross, a freestyle, and a downhill, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. And who could it be, dude? Would it be, who do you think, Dewitt, right? The Polish cat?
Polish Dave.
David.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, dude.
I
don't know, man.
I have an apology to make to our friend Dave. Dave, I can't pronounce your surname, and you let me pronounce it wrong on your episode. And I got told off on the weekend, and I said that I'm not going to even attempt to say it now, but it's not how you would expect it to be pronounced. There's me saying Rozaka, and obviously it's not going to be that because that's my stupid English, but I can't remember how it is pronounced now.
No, I'm not, and that's why I didn't try, because I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I bet Matt
Very
Prince
Polish
pulled you up.
Dave, that's where I'm at now.
Was it
Well,
Matt Prince that
Matt-
pulled you up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's an international. He's a cabinet member of the International Mountainboard Association, so he has to be politically correct. But
Matt Bryan.
I think David from Poland is a fantastic way to describe him. But no, dude, I've seen him come up. Like I remember when he was like, even a Comp 95 was as big as he was when he was trying double flips in Russia at a breakthrough show there. And now to see him just like bulk up and freestyle and border cross like he does is so cool, man. So and as much as like I love Cody and Matt and all those cats, like it'd be sick to see a championship go somewhere like Poland for a little while,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like the sound of that.
So
I think there's I don't know how strong his racing is, but I really like Antoine Gambier from France on the freestyle, and I know he's training hard with his airbag and stuff at the moment. So I think his level of progression, certainly in the freestyle, is going to go up massively over the course of the next year or so.
Dude, well, I'm excited, man. As long as there's wine and cheese, that's probably the best part of the French contest. Is you get like a wine and bread token. So
all over that shit.
This is also your announcement. If you don't want bread and you want wine, if you don't want wine and you want bread, I'll trade you. Give me your wine token. Your tickets. So.
Listen, dude, we're coming up there into sort of the final furlong of this episode, but it's about time we sort of asked you about things that we might not know about that you might want to talk about. Is there anything that you feel, any part of your story that we haven't talked about, or that you feel there's more to talk about, or anything like that?
No, I think at this point we pretty well covered everything, especially like wanting to address the triple, and I think like this is the best platform to do that with. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. But mostly just give shouts to the crew, like Van Dewitt, Casey Thomas, Halston Rhodes, Millie Wallace. Like, thank you guys for picking me up and driving me everywhere. So I did have a story to tell.
Yeah, we need that air horn right now for you.
But yeah, dude, like the whole mountain board community in the United States, I know that like it was tumultuous, dude. Like, fuck, you could like it's a whole other podcast talking about the Dirt Star Army versus 1-5 crew days, you know, with
just
you know, so
let it be said now, there will be a place to do that in the future. It might as well make some form of it seems to be the term of the moment, soft announcement, in that we hope to sort of change it about a bit. We're still going to carry on doing these single rider episodes and such like that, but we may also look to move to do a sort of some of the episodes that we've done, like with LA Mountain Board. There was a few other riders there. We did a BFC episode, you know, where there was so I'm hoping that we can have the odd special episode with a bit of a round table to talk about whether it be Dirt Star Army, Team Bad in the UK, or you know, the three riders in Portugal, Sintra crew, or and that sort of thing. So if you will and would ever like to come back on the dirt in whatever manner,
that'd be sick, man. I'd be into it for sure. Because it is, you know, it's very nostalgic to talk about and remember. But the important thing is, even if you're in a mountain board crew, younger mountain boarders out there, if you're in a mountain board crew, you're all in it together. The sport's too small to be hating on each other, you know, because of who you ride with. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, rep your set, but don't be toxic about it, man. You know.
So, exactly.
But yeah, man, that was cool. Those were the days. But yeah, dude. Yeah, we touched on everything, I think, really. Unless you guys have any other your questions or things that we might have missed, but yeah,
we've not spoken about what your current setup is.
Oh yeah, shit, it's in the garage, but it's a collab mountain board with second gen Matrix Pros. So the aluminum top truck with the aluminum hanger. They're also flipped. They're Mormonized. They've been converted. Akoni Kama was generous enough to locate a box of old I think they were crosshairs or something. Another GI hub, like a second gen crosshair, or no, tarantulas.
Right.
And so, you know, I've got a set of tarantulas running around, some crosshairs and some F3 straps. So this is my plead with MBS to stop making F5 bindings. Please go back to the F3 and the aluminum Matrix Pro.
Austin, you prefer the F3s?
Yeah, and I think it's because I think like the F4s and the F5s were good for people who do ride heel straps, but it seems like as you try to ratchet in, it pushes your foot out of the binding and, you know, into the heel strap, which is fine. But for me and for everybody else, like I ride cam locks. I don't even ride ratchets. So I ride the cam locks with the F3, and I can get my feet in and out and locked in. You know, I'll ride Serbia or any other border cross track with that setup, and go from there. The F3 is just super good. It's good old fashioned strap. So I know the Tramp is doing a similar shape though, right?
Yeah, the Tramper ones. I think they're a little bit longer in this section here. On that, so I think this section extends a little bit longer, so it can come down and and you know, give a little bit more support around there, depending on how you're doing. I mean, I'm with you. I think as a freestyle binding, they're the ones that you want, really, because you can ratchet them down. They're light and they're you know, they're small and but
very minimalist, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I gotta ask, your collab, what color is it?
It is gray.
Ah,
Got a gray collab.
You got a gray one.
Yeah, I mean, I could run and get it if you're cool with full of dead space. I can go grab it real quick. Yeah.
Go grab it.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Stay there.
Oh, there we go. We've got a bit of board porn for those listeners who aren't able to see. Mason,
Unlucky.
just run to the garage. We don't know how far the garage is. I can't hear or see him coming back just yet. So you're going to have to deal with me talking for a couple of more seconds. Slogs is taking this moment to fill up his vape.
I certainly am. Got anything interesting to tell me, Dan? I've not actually spoke to you since properly, but like, how was your weekend?
Oh, it's epic. I went out with the boys, Matt Brind, Andy Brind, Eamon and Emlyn. Have I told you about this?
Once or twice.
There we go.
All right, boys, the star of the show. So you can tell it's a collab because it has a handwritten collab on the bottom.
That's it.
But yeah, so obviously flip trucks, and I did 2 different colors because that's all I had. But maybe it's easier to tell which one's nose, which one's tail. And yeah, great.
Very nice.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen Arno's VDV's board.
Yeah.
Where he's got a pretty badass little setup too, just with his colorway. So it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah. And it
got dude, horse boarding. We haven't even talked about horse boarding yet.
Do you horse board?
No. Well, so when Matt Silva and I moved to San Diego for like a year to create an equestrian show, so it was like a half cert, half like horse show where like you do vaulting and freestyle riding, and our job was to be pulled behind horses on our boards and actually do freestyle jumps. So we were doing 360s and backflips in the show with these horses. It was pretty fun. So, but then there was like this whole thing about how like, you know, there's like this whole thing about horse boarding, and we weren't like the originators, and we didn't even claim to be, but there was this whole pissing contest about horse boarding for a second. I was just like, y'all can have it, you know what I mean? but they do like the speed and slalom behind the horses, which is ballsy in itself, right? Like they call it ski joring here, so they pull skiers and snowboarders behind horses up in Park City and do that. So like, yeah, man, at like 70 miles an hour. It's not. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know about 70, but still,
it's not for me. I've got to say, it's not for me. I after we had Aidan Beamish on here for an episode, and he obviously is real into it. And since that episode, I have liked horseboarding UK or whatever on Instagram. I have to say, they fucking fly.
Dude,
they are rapid as fucking things.
It's proper gnarly, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and like that goes back. Yeah, it goes back to border cross. We're like, if I go down, I want it to be my choice, not this like 1,000-pound beast.
Yeah.
Careening down, you know what I mean? So yeah, dude. So yeah, we've done quite a few things mountain boarding, man, along the way, you know, between horse boarding and whatever else. But I guess maybe the confusion and maybe the beef was that we were trying to coin horse boarding, but we weren't. But anyways, shouts to the horse boarding community though. And
that's like I was almost now, and I could have just completely slated horseboarding then, but I'm not going to do it because it's a small community and it's a part of our niche community, whether we like it or not.
That's what I said, dude. We're a small family. You can't be hating on each other. There's not enough of us to be bitter or, you know, harbor ill feelings towards other people, man. It's no good.
I mean, I think to be fair, if we were at the Champs or something like that and they had a little a horseboarding tryout session, I would be tempted to have a trot around, not a canter and certainly not a gallop. Like if they had like a Shetland pony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a donkey.
Or a mini horse.
Yeah. A donkey.
If I could get pulled by a donkey instead, I'd have that a go.
I'll go on that. That's more my scene.
Maybe we can coin that donkey boarding.
Yeah. and then you have your donkey specific mountain board decks, your donkey decks.
Donkey.
No, but straight up shouts to those guys though, because like they do have to also train those horses to be okay with boards riding behind them. Like it's a very like, you know, I was in San Diego for like 6 months before even riding a mountain board behind them, because like you had to break them into, you had to like leave it there for them to just like hang out with and coexist with, and then you had to put it behind them and then start making noise with it, and then you know it was a very whole, it's a long process to get them introduced to something like that. So yeah, like for the record, not knocking horse boarding, I still choose street.
Oh man, dude, this has been an absolute joy. It really has. It really has.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, keep in touch, guys. Like, let's link
I
up.
would
And
really like that, and I will take you up on that offer of coming to see us at some point. When it happens, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to wait a little bit longer till the young family gets that little bit older, that I can maybe try and do it alone, or who knows. But I would definititly plan on getting to that neck of the wood at some point. It's
cool. Well, you're always welcome, man. We're out of the troops.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. I've been over to the States once, but it was only New York. And it was only for a few days. And there's way more than that, exactly.
So, did you have pizza while you were there, or what? What was your what's your takeaway from the United States after going to New York? It's that place is ratchet, dude.
It was fucking hectic and tall.
Yeah, people are vitamin deficient because there's no sun getting through all those buildings, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that's so good. But cool. Well, yeah. Well, thanks, guys. Yeah, stay in touch and come on over, dude. You've got places to stay, food to eat, beer to drink, man.
Legend. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, really is.
So, dude, we made new friends today, guys.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, brother.
Will do, man. You guys as well. And I guess keep an eye out on all the Instagrams or the Facebooks and everything else, man. But I got this sweet collab board that I got to put to use, or else Cody's going to take it back, I guess. But no, he would never do that. But yeah, dude. So yeah, it's my commitment to be more present within the sport and within the community.
Please do.
Yeah, dude, like, so, and it was cool to see everybody else reaching out on like the Instagram posts and everything else, man. So like reminded me of why, you know, the community that I'm a part of, and yeah, man, can't fade out. So let's get after it.
Yeah, you done good. It picked up quick the likes on your Instagram there. And as a nod to you, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna get that front side nose pick to backside nose pick out, and I'll tag you in it when I do it.
It rolls super easy, dude. You got it. Just pick it up, do it, lock it in, get out.
There you go.
Guys.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Your trucks first.
Take it easy. Cheers, gents.
See you later. Bye.
Way aye, man. That was dead canny as out that like. Cheers for tuning out to listen. Now, before you gan yem, don't forget, if you want to keep getting doing with the dirty fun, like and subscribe. Get amongst it. Shy Ben's getting out.